Every day on this channel, I cover everything Elon said on X in the last 24 hours. And here's how many times Elon posted about each subject today. I will cover everything he said about each topic before moving on to the next one. And starting with Tesla, Elon had a long reply to this post from Google Research introducing nested learning, a new machine learning paradigm for continual learning that views models as nested optimization problems to enhance long context processing. Our proof of concept model, HOPE, shows improved performance in language modeling. So Jeff Dean quotes that saying, an exciting new approach for doing continual learning using nested optimization for enhancing long context processing. And Elon said, not sure if it's super new, as we've been doing something along these lines at Tesla for a while, but it does make sense. The single biggest technical challenge of Tesla's self-driving AI is context compression. Of 1.5 gigabytes of video per second to 2 kilobytes a second of control outputs using a puny inference computer without making any mistakes. Super hard to avoid overly lossy compression at any given step. And this XAI employee says that continual learning is largely a context compression problem. Compressing endless multimodal bit streams into dense, reusable learning representations is crucial to deploying such systems in the real world. Building a unified learning representation will be necessary towards creating AI that can continuously act in and learn from the real world in a safe and reliable manner. Elon says, bullseye. And Yoon Ta is a senior staff engineer at Tesla, and he says that designing an inference chip for robots is actually very difficult. In data centers, each chip is bathed in jacuzzi and babysat by nannies. If they died, it would be hot swapped by one of their clones. The fault rate of GPUs in data centers is actually quite high. Industrial average annual fault rate of H100 is 9%. Ideal conditions could reduce it down to 2%, but never below a single digit. The fault recovery of GPU nodes actually could take a while, from minutes to hours. It is not instantaneous. In robots, the chips are out in the cold and they need rapid self-recovery. The fault tolerance is in a different league. It is not uncommon. Many robotic companies struggle to get the chip running more than a few hours without rebooting. For chip companies, this is great since they would tell robotic companies to buy more chips for hot swapping. For robotic companies, this is bad since it is obviously not a scalable solution, but they are stuck with endless back and forth Jira tickets with vendors. Elon says, haha, exactly. And Tesla shareholders recently voted that if Elon hits certain milestones for Tesla, that he'll get about $1 trillion worth of stock. But a lot of politicians were coming out making it seem like he's already got the trillion. So Tom Nash says to earn it, Tesla has to hit a $12 trillion market cap, generate $2 trillion in revenue, and outprofit every industrial giant on Earth. No pressure. If you're wondering why it's a $12 trillion market cap and not an $8 trillion market cap, it's likely because one of the milestones requires Elon and Tesla to hit $400 billion in EBITDA. And with current price to earnings sentiment for Tesla, the market cap would likely be above $8 trillion if they had that much EBITDA. Anyways, Elon had a laugh at that one. And then Yoon Ta quoted the new Sweeney meme saying, "You work at Tesla?" This meme began when this woman basically insisted that Sweeney apologize for her Good Genes American Eagle ad, and Elon had a laugh at that as well. Hassan says, "Wheels on a shopping cart be like," and Elon is still laughing. He's actually commenting on this meme a lot today, so I'm going to show it to you guys.
The criticism of the content, which was basically that maybe specifically in this political climate, like white people shouldn't joke about genetic superiority. Like that was kind of like the criticism, broadly speaking. And since you are talking about this, I just wanted to give you an opportunity to talk about that specifically.
I think that when I have an issue that I want to speak about, people will hear.
So Levels.io says new mood, and Alex Iron responds saying she has higher testosterone than the average man in Western society right now. And Elon says tragically true. He then says, I think Sydney was trying to say this to the interviewer.
You are so cringe.
And in a related story, there's this legendary AI pioneer named Noam Shazir. But lately he's had a lot to say about gender, Gaza, and politics. Now, Meta made an acquisition offer to him for $1 billion, but Google offered almost $3 billion. But now that Shazir works at Google, his comments are repeatedly being deleted by moderators, drawing rebukes from top leaders like Jeff Dean and fueling debates over free speech, workplace inclusion, and Google's evolving culture. As the architect of major Gemini model breakthroughs, Shazir's brilliance now clashes with Google's push to limit political and divisive speech at work. He said, "I do not believe that humans have an attribute called gender. I do not believe that God puts people in the wrong bodies. I do not believe that it is okay to sterilize children. You have the right to your beliefs. I do not share them." Lulu said Google leadership really needs to have Noam's back, not just privately, but even if it means standing up to other employees. The issue is bigger than supporting a star performer. Either ban all political discussion or let any employee express their views. But to let one side dominate is a huge mistake and horrible for culture. Google will find they can't just cancel someone like they could 8 years ago. And Elon said 100. And in response to Shazir saying that he doesn't believe that humans have an attribute called gender, he said Noam is right. And someone else reported on the story saying that he's helped Gemini meaningfully since then, but also kept posting inflammatory statements that angered colleagues and prompted Google to censor him. So this XAI employee said, "In this case, I was a fan before." And Elon said, "Same." And we looked at this post yesterday when Elon was responding to the Democratic senator in Texas, Roland, where he accused Elon of becoming a trillionaire off the backs of American taxpayers while they are just struggling to pay for groceries. And as we read through yesterday, Elon's rebuttal calling him a taker and not a maker, saying the path to prosperity for all is just let the makers make. But we didn't see the senator's response, so here it is. He said, "Lay off the ketamine, bro." Sir Doge of the Coin replied saying, "The response of a retard who's been so thoroughly cooked that they have no rebuttal." And Elon had a laugh at that one. He then made another post saying that Elon is a destroyer who has never helped a person if it wouldn't help him more. Emerald Mine Elon built his fortune on the backs of his factory workers and juicing government tax incentives. So Elon replied to him saying, "Liar," and attaching a photo of the community notes, which said that the Emerald Mine claim is false and didn't fund Elon. Errol, his father, traded a plane for a one-time 1980s Zambia batch, $400,000 total, collapsing in 1989. Not a formal mine. Elon left South Africa with $2,500 savings, self-funded college with $100,000 in debt, and started Zip2 with $2,000 of his own cash. He denies inheritance. And this year, major news sites are seeing huge drops in traffic. This chart goes back 1 year, and you can see at Forbes a 52% decline in traffic. CNN 34% decline, Fox News down 25%, CNBC is up 2%. Tungas says, "Lol, imagine still reading Forbes," and Elon reposted this. And he also reposted that Starlink will soon be available on British Airways and several other airlines. You can stream, game, work with more reliable high-speed in-flight connectivity. And a few more crumbs we got to clean up from some stories from yesterday. We saw Elon talking about the government programs are so inefficient because unlike a commercial company, the feedback loop for improvement is broken. They have a state-mandated monopoly and they can't go out of business if customers are unhappy. And the Argentinian president Javier Milei calls that a masterclass. And Kaizen said, "Imagine shareholders of a failing company demanding that other shareholders give the company more money to fail. Socialism in a nutshell." And Elon said, "Yup." And moving on to XAI, you can now access Grok right from your lock screen. Just add the Grok widget, long tap your home screen, choose Customize, tap Add Widget, and pick Grok. One tap access to Grok on your phone. That's very useful. And Grok just got a major upgrade, a massive jump in reasoning quality and completion rate. Reasoning mode jumped about 17 percentage points, non-reasoning mode jumped 20 percentage points. Great work, XAI team, and Elon reposted this. And this upgrade is all thanks to one thing, better injected system prompts. And there was no press release about this. Elon said this is actually a major Grok upgrade, but we decided to release it quietly this time. It gave us time to smooth out the rough edges. I actually noticed how much faster it was today, but I thought it was just because it was Saturday and maybe it wasn't getting as much usage, but now I know why. And he quoted it again saying, "Grok upgrades." And he reminds us that it has a 2 million window context. This context window can allow substantial documents or code bases to be loaded as a single prompt for interrogation and consideration. And this XAI employee says, "Hold on tight," and Elon reposted this. And he also reposted Tetsuo reporting on the update. And Dogen says, "I never thought I'd say this, but Grok might have reached mid-journey level aesthetics. Just try it and tell me what you think." Elon said, "Getting there." And Grok Imagine also got an upgrade. It now supports text to video. And so here is the big prompt, and here is the output. Elon says, Grok Imagine prompt. She smiles and says, I will always love you.
And I will always love you.
Now add a sexy vampire boyfriend with big teeth, pointy elf ears, and a big mustache. And let's run a quick slideshow for the rest of the creations he reposted. So, that is everything that Elon said today. Not too much going on. We saw some Sweeney memes. We'll see how Google decides to react or respond or address this Gnome Shazir situation. And Grok 4 Fast got a little bit faster. I'm going to be away visiting family for the next 3 days, so Isaac is going to take over. And if you guys want early access to these daily videos, you can gain access by joining the channel as a member, and I'll see you guys soon.
Wow.